Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, where I check to make sure everything is working. Let's do that now. How are you all? Hopefully well. I've had a excellent week. Really good day so far. My ice cube's got stuff on it. That's okay. But other than that, I'm pretty stoked to build an Esika build. And to Josh, if you're watching, I might have to take some liberties with this list. We'll soon find out, but it will be more or less what you are requesting. A cEDH version of Esika that actually uses Esika, right? Sorry, don't mind me mouthing my bottle and glass here. Not gonna waste any of the Brew. That's how you pronounce that rather. But how are you? Hopefully this will be fun and entertaining for all of us, because I don't generally build 5-colored builds. I gotta say, not something I do on a general basis. But this was a Brewmaster request, so here we are. And I do want to discuss just a few things moving forward with how the channel will operate, so far as like the deck techs are concerned. And ideally, everything's going to take place over the weekend, all streams, and I'd love to have like talking points and or set reviews done over the weekend as well. So for Crimson Vow, Sans, the Commander decks, I'll be discussing the entire set over the weekend, which is not really covering that much because the set has been just okay. And I think the Commander cards get spoiled after Sunday, which is when I would like to air it, so hang tight for that. But I am pulling up what Josh wanted for Esika, and then I will come back to you all. Give me 1 second. Ripkiss, yes. Freshest of haircuts. I actually had to go to the barber twice. Different barbers. Because the first barber, not a great job. Like, it was just down the street. Very simple cut. I wanted it longer, and it just did not work out. So this was like the salvage, and I just showered, so it's still wet, but it looks pretty good, I think. I hope. I don't know. It's weird. It's nice having no hair to deal with, honestly. I'm sorry if you liked the long hair. This thumbnail, misleading. But yeah, happy for it. Thank you, Fabian. I'm liking it too. This is a fun... Yeah, I think this is a good cut. One thing I want to do to modify these streams, by the way, I've been asked if we can run music, which is something I think we can do. It's just a little bit more tedious. I have to find a track that's nice to loop that we could run in the background. Do you find that absolutely necessary? As a matter of fact, I'm going to run a few polls during this particular stream today. The show, before the show, just to see what you guys think. Would music enhance your experience? Yes or simple yes or no question. Let me see here. Esika, -2 creature deck, Paradox Haze, Sire of Insanity, Turgid. Oh, I see what you mean. New haircut, new shoes are some of the best things in life. Yeah, it's funny. I almost bought a pair of new shoes. Been thinking about it. But then again, I almost bought a new camera. So, which I'm still contemplating. I really want a new camera. I've been using these cameras for a long time. And the glass I use is great. And I want to continue using these cameras, but there are a lot of limitations to what these cameras can do. And I want to get at least just... I probably will. It's expensive. But I'm probably going to buy... It's relative. But I'm probably going to buy a Panasonic GH5 II from Amazon because the return policy is amazing. Because I want to, one, test out everything like the 4K 60, all that fun stuff. But two, it apparently allows you to run it live for live streams as like a webcam, wirelessly or wired. So my thought is if we had one of those with the capture card I generally run, then that's sort of like 2 out of 3 cameras in the equation of getting like live gameplay, right? So if it works that way, that's great. And then there's the matter of spending another $1,800 to buy another one of those cameras, which is absurd. So, probably going to refrain from buying a second one anytime soon, but I do need one for work. My job will probably just buy me a camera, but I shoot at home too, and I would like a nice camera at home that uses the lenses I use. It's a tough predicament. Fabian says glass cannon. Yeah, it sounds it with what Paradox Haze. Okay, let me look over Paradox Haze really quick. That's the only part of that equation I don't really. I feel like I know the card. Yeah. At the beginning of Enchanted Player's first upkeep, each turn that player gets an additional upkeep step after this step. What a quirky card. I love that it's $10, by the way. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with Esika. I feel like a mass tappy, untappy strategy is probably in order. Particularly if we're using the front end of Esika. That was really the request for this build, that we use the front end of Esika. There were a few more stipulations to that, but obviously it's going to thrive off of legendary creatures, and the fact that they're vigilance so they can swing means that we can also go wide with our general strategy, and we'll be able to ramp into some cool things. Does everything have to be a legendary? Probably not. What I want to do is start at the low end of the legendary spectrum, like what are the lowest CMC legendaries, and then what are the highest CMC legendaries, because Esika's not difficult to get down. She passes that Jeweled Lotus test really well. She's one generic double green. So we're going to make triple green to get her, right? So it's very easy to put her down. I wish she was like Savala easy. Savala is like 2 generic, 1 green, if I'm not mistaken. That would be amazing. Am I mistaken? We just played her. No, same thing as Esika, sadly. My hope is that we could do like a mana crypt into Esika, but obviously that's not going to happen. I mean, you get to be in 5 colors, so I guess all is forgiven. But we might run some dorks. I don't know. It's interesting because Josh is the one who suggested this, and I forget how Josh runs his. It's generally, I think it's all creatures and predominantly legendary, if not all legendary creatures, which is pretty absurd, but it's possible. And it functions well. But I think we can make a few tweaks to make that work even better. Better, Josh. Nice cut, my dude. Almost forgot. Yeah. Cheers. I almost forgot I had like a head under all that hair. I really hated managing my hair. So this is infinitely better already. I gotta tell you, I'm ecstatic to have less hair right now. Only if it's someone in the background playing random instrumental music. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? I'm gonna keep the poll running for now. I'll keep the poll running until we officially start. The music is like not so essential to me. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. And you get the music of New York City. Literally, there's guys on the outside of my building taking out bricks right now. Literally chiseling away at the side of my wall. So you'll probably get a little bit of that. There's always cars and ambulances and fire trucks. So just enjoy the native sounds of my environment. How about that? That's my take. Let me see here. But yeah, Esika, she's got a lot going for her on the top end. Obviously, you know, the bridge is the end that most people talk about when they're trying to build a cEDH version of Esika. And I've seen a ton of builds with that, but the major one I saw, at least when she first came out, was with Godo. Right, it's sort of like a shell list for the Godo combo, which is very simple to set up and not a bad idea. But I kind of like the concept of just working with the god on front. And she's a 1/4, like a really decent blocker. Obviously, this list would thrive off of something like Elish Norn. There's plenty of cool things we can add in here that I'm excited to incorporate. We'll see. I do have Josh's request off to the side, though, and that's definitely something I want to go over first. And again, I will. He stated it was fine that we amend this to a certain degree to make this as efficient as possible. But whether or not Josh actually would want to play with it with those amendments is another thing. So I kind of want to try to stay true to form, or at least true to request here. We'll see. Other people working, my favorite sound. Right. Exactly. When you see me put my AirPods in, it's me just listening to like the sound of New York City passerby, or like the sound of office space. I'm sure there's like a soundscape. There's probably a studio that produces just ambient sounds from noisy environments, like sounds of construction sites. So a lot of whistling, a lot of catcalling, and sounds of New York street. That'd be kind of cool to be in like a busy area where there's a lot of food trucks and stuff. I could listen to that. I mean, I get it normally, but I actually probably would want to avoid that more or less. We'll see. Like the sounds of commute, like people yelling in traffic. Would you want that in the background? Maybe we can do that instead. Goose, Bass Goose says, "What's up?" Not much, Goose. Not much. But yeah, is music something that you would find to improve the experience or enhance your experience of watching Deck Treks live? Let me know. And cheers. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time watching a Deck Tech on the 99, is this man drinking scotch in the middle of the day? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Is he building Esika for the front of the card? Indeed. Yes, he is. Will it be good? I have no idea. But the scotch is great. Really, really great. Never tried this before until I bought this bottle recently because they didn't have the brand I wanted. Really solid. And not only that, it's Tiffany blue. Right? It just looks fancy. It just looks fancier this way. I think it does. All right. Yeah, Jay-Z, I know. Would music make up for the lack of hair? Would music... I use Soundstripe when I'm finding music for video projects, and I'm fairly certain I can use Soundstripe to like broadcast like radio music for live streams. I've just not looked into it, although it was something that was of interest for people. I think it would be fine. I feel like it could be a little bit of a distraction pending the song, and I'm not going to try to monitor that or bother with that while I'm going through the workflow here, because I'd rather not be disrupted with managing a radio station, right? So if there was just like one singular song or a couple of tracks that we can have in loop, you know, maybe that would be good. I don't know. It never felt absolutely necessary, but we'll see. I love coming into a stream and being asked difficult questions. Trev, I need to know now. What are you, music or not? Say it. But no, take your time. You really, I mean, the poll is going to end in just a minute, so no pressure. I voted for yes, I'm a music nerd, I assume you mean, so I might be slightly biased. Oh shit. I mean, I'm probably going to put on some lo-fi, ambient, funky, fresh stuff. Does that make sense? Probably something just super chill. Like whatever the lo-fi girl is listening to, that's probably what we're going to be listening to because it's easier for me to work with. Although I probably wouldn't be hearing it. The way I would stream the music, it would just be for you. So I would find a volume that's appropriate for you, and then I would be talking over that the whole time. I wouldn't be hearing any of the music. So if people are cursing or like saying horrible things in whatever radio station, I'm sorry. I just played against the Godot build and it came out of nowhere. Devastating if you're not ready. Well, Graydon, be prepared for a less menacing Esika. I hope your pal switches to this form of Esika because it's going to be slow rolling. Like it's not going to get you with a Godot combo. I mean, we could put Godot in here, but it's not a huge concern. I think we're relying on just doing... What's kind of cool is that we could do like aggravated assault, right? I don't want to jump into it yet, but there's stuff you can do like with enough creatures. Couldn't we just run Derevi in here too? Like any sort of extra combat momentum we can get. There's additional combat. There's an additional combat card that's in Boros that's kind of cool that I would love to incorporate because it's Waves of Aggression. It uses an ability called Retrace. You may play this card from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying its cost. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there's additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. So it's 3 generic in Boros, so it's 5 CMC total. And my theory would be, if we had a thing like Neheb Dreadhorde Champion or something rummaging or looting through our list while we're doing it, we could sort of just get a wave of mana from each turn, because our creatures are also vigilant with Esika's top ability, our legendaries, that is. So they would be vigilant, so they can attack and tap for mana to cast this. Obviously, you need a land, but there are plenty of creatures that return lands to your hand. I feel like that's sort of a very quirky combo to add to the deck, but there's stuff like you could do like that. I'm thinking it'd be cool to go for an additional combat sort of scheme. I do think Aggravated Assault's probably the most logical. It's just 5 mana. Untap all creatures you control after this. Yeah, this is, I mean, that's the simplest way to do it, right? But we can look over a couple of options, and I kind of want to just discuss right off the bat with you guys the way these cold brews are going to work and the way the brewmasters are going to work in the future. Is I'm not going to have enough time to like research these prior. I come in with a general idea, but I didn't spend hours looking over like deck strategies for this particular list. And I do all of these from scratch, like we will definitely be doing today. So I don't really know the general strategy or play lines of your average cEDH or even high-powered or EDH version of any of these legendaries or legendary pairings we do on the channel. I always just take the time to look over it myself, because I like to find the most efficient lines myself, see if I couldn't find them. It's something that usually matches up with whatever someone else created, but that's just how I roll. It's far more interesting and far more enjoyable for me to do it that way. But because you guys don't know this, I'm full-time employed now, which is new. I've not ever been employed full-time. So I'm working 5 days a week from like 9 to 6. So it's a lot of work, and I'm probably not going to want to add much more to that clock, right? So for any live streams over the weekend, things like set reviews, I've been monitoring this Innistrad Midnight Vow the whole time, so I know what I want to talk about there. But deck techs, it's really going to be from scratch with your assistance, which is great, which is exactly what I want to do all the time anyways. But yeah, you can come to expect that. And secretly closing the poll. Anyone else? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 2, 1. You got an extra second there? Ending it. No idea where it's at, but we'll find out. Lo-fi is so good. Well, there you go. I mean, I listen to a lot of different radio stations when I'm working, but I prefer ambient music. Words generally get in the way or like disrupt my workflow. If I'm working on something that's labor intensive, I can't be listening to something that has words in it. Play the guitars behind you. Yeah. That would be one way to accommodate. We should just, I mean, I have an amplifier over there with a busted tube that needs to be replaced. I could play in the bass amp though. Wouldn't that be great? I don't think any of these things are in tune though. I've got an acoustic in the other room. we really want that. 50-50, damn it, people. How am I working with 50-50? What is this? Sphinx of the Second Sun gives you upkeeps per turn. Cyberpunk, can you please keep that in mind? Sphinx of the Second Sun? Is this necessary? Wait. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you get an additional beginning phase at that. Seems kind of cool. It seems very weird. I don't like how that's worded, but yeah, I get it. Walking Ballista. We can add a Walking Ballista. And, a very helpful poll indeed. Yes, right? I love the slug from Crimson Vow, by the way. The synergy with Slug Monster. Yeah. Thank you, Diogo. But yeah, the slug from Crimson Vow, Trev. That's a card. Like, you can do some pretty cool things with that guy. I think that's probably one of the better legendaries from the set, and something I would definitely want to do in a cold brew. Before we jump into this, though, fairly good-sized audience right now. I think it's time to start. Before we start, this is the important bit, and I'll put it in the time signature, but moving forward, so everyone knows, channel completely live streamed. Completely live streamed. I have been so busy since signing on. I haven't had a chance to amend the Patreon or amend the YouTube memberships. So in our last pre-recorded video, which was the finale for Brew Wars, which did fucking awful, by the way, share, like, it's doing okay. I can understand why people don't want to see it. Maybe it's weird. Like, YouTube is not pushing my videos the same way they used to. After I shifted to doing more live streams, YouTube just does not care about me at all, which is fine. Which just means that you guys need to care about me or this program by sharing it, liking it, all that fun stuff. So I'll probably bother you in saying that more oftentimes than not, because I know a lot of people, myself included, don't like videos commonly. But if you did, that would be amazing, because it means that YouTube will see that people like this content and push it to more people, because I get like 0 impressions on these. At any rate, moving forward, everything's going to be live stream. Everything's going to take place over the weekend, because that's when I have time. It would be weird to, because I'll work from home on some days, but it would be weird to be live streaming on a work day. Pretty sure I can't explain that. So they're all going to take place over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Gameplay, talking points with you, with guests, and obviously the cold brew brewmaster segments, because these are my favorite. That's what the fun of this game is for me, in truth, is predominantly building list. This is my favorite part, even more so than playing the list. Building them, easily my favorite part. So you can expect all of these still. And monthly topics, I want to convert to just spoken word. A lot of the times when we do the gameplay segments, we'll have guests from the Patreon speak on topics they've already answered. And for a lot of people, they just don't have the time or feel like personally sharing, but in a less intimate setting. But when we're on camera with someone, I feel like it's easier to just open up on your thoughts on a monthly topic. So I think for the month of November, we might forego the monthly topic, though I'll pose it this weekend. Any Sunday, Saturday episode, I'll pose it, and we can sort of take some answers from that. But I still want to do that because I do like engaging you guys and myself on some harder questions. But I'm going to tune in with you guys, make sure everyone's okay, everyone's here, everyone's peachy, and then we'll start talking about this build. Aggravated Assault combo with Sphinx of the Second Sun, from what I've heard. Is Sphinx of the Second Sun necessary? I'm confused. Wait up. After this phase, there's additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Activate only at sorcery speed. I mean, you don't really need Sphinx of the Second Sun for that, I don't think. But you could use it. If we're looking for additional upkeeps, we could use Paradox Haze, Boz says. I'm not looking... What do we want the upkeeps for? We're not actually using... Is this for the back? Are you guys suggesting additional upkeeps? Because at the beginning of your upkeep, the Prismatic Bridge triggers. This is Esika No Bridge. I don't know if you saw the title. If you go to the link in the description, you can follow to see Esika No Bridge, the deck we'll be building. But I hate to say it, we're not going to be relying on the back end of this card at all. And you'll see why in a second. That was the request. Someone sniffed something while designing the slug, and I love it. I like the new hero. Well, thank you, Kyle Iverson. I appreciate that. I like your name. You're welcome. All right, why don't we start? Welcome back to the 99, where we're focused on brewing a better competitive commander. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and this is Brewmaster, where I take the deck list and or suggestions from our Patreon members and our YouTube members in the not-too-distant future and make the deck for you live. That's right, completely from scratch. All original ideas here. I mean, it's hard to claim originality on cards that have existed for multiple years in many cases, but Esika is relatively new to us. She's from Call Time. And she's known for being a modal card. She's double-faced. And she has a really cool back end. But we're not going to touch that at all today. Because Josh Stein, the patron requesting this particular deck text, states, Esika Creature Combo. While I know you are not a big fan of 5 colors, I will be submitting Esika Creature Combo with the restriction being no instants or sorceries. If that is too restrictive, then I'll submit Esika and leave it to you to take her or the bridge, whichever way you think is most cEDH viable. Now, I'm going to flex a little bit here. I want to do the Esika Creature Combo because I know Josh focuses on the Esika end of Prismatic Bridge. He plays an Esika build. And it's very fun to see. I want to do that, but I do think we need to incorporate some instances in sorceries, because we're not gonna, it's 5 colors, right? But we're not gonna be able to find all legendary amazing creatures to just pack in this list. It will be devoid of certain elements of play, and we do need interactions, particularly if we're in blue. We got to have some say so, because this is it's gonna be operating very, very slow. So all of the tutors, like, we should focus on all of the tutors, some counter interaction, maybe a silence, maybe a red elemental blast, which is a countermeasure, but it's red, so it's unique in that. All of that stuff, coupled with our core creature combos, excellent legendary creatures, stuff to help us go wide, and obviously combo cards. Aggravated Assault being one of them. I do think that's pretty core to this combo, barring we have enough legendaries in the field. So that's probably the first thing we're going to focus on. But I do want to just bring up Esika first before we continue. And Josh, thank you for the submission. I hope you see it and it brings you joy. But I will focus on Esika. There's been enough Prismatic Bridge builds. I think they're fine. But that's of no interest to me. Or you. Because you don't play for Bridge. So I'm hoping that this take will be more enjoyable for you and more useful for you. And hopefully we can tweak this to being a cEDH build, or as close as it gets, right? And, you know, it's not my goal with this channel to make the most backbreaking list. I know that that is the expectation in cEDH. Some legendaries don't lend themselves to playing that way. This is one that may or may not. So let's see how far we can take it. At any rate, let's just take a gander at Esika, God of the Tree. So for generic double green, legendary creature God, 1/4 body, vigilance. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. So that's cool, right? In a green list. But remember, Prismatic Bridge is all of the colors. So we are actually in 5 colors. So 1 mana of any color, pretty useful. And in the what's more department, other legendary creatures you control have vigilance, and tap, add 1 mana of any color. So any creature that's legendary has the potential of tapping for mana. So once Ragavan sees too many blockers, Ragavan is still good for making mana. Are we going to use Isamaru? Maybe. I actually would like to use Isamaru, but I don't know if it's necessarily the most viable creature in the world of cEDH. However, it's still a decent attacker, like a decent body to have on hand to help with our count for the aggravated assault, right? So there are other combos I want to discuss too with you guys before we continue. I just want to get this going because I know this is the first thing we should be looking at. And there's, again, plenty of really great creatures that we can bake into this list that are also just combo creatures. Like I saw one for a split second, like Acerak. Like if he's just in the list, we could just build a combo around Acerak. Mind you, it's not difficult to accommodate that. Or if this is predominantly creatures, we can build in food chain combos, and that's totally fine. Again, is it the best strategy to just work for a food chain in this list where our outlet isn't in the command zone? Probably not, but it is something we can do, right? So I want to just talk over any and all of those to find the most efficient line of play. See if we can conceptualize something else outside of aggravated assault, and then we can commit to those 2 strategies. So in my mind, plan A is something like an aggravated assault, and then plan B would be something like Najeela, right? Najeela just says, Najeela's so stupid. But yeah, if you guys don't know Najeela, untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Activate only during combat. So untap all attacking creatures. You are able to, if I'm not mistaken, use your legendaries, right? They're vigilant, they're attacking, they tap, they produce the mana, they gain trample, lifelink, haste, and then you continue, right? Right? Am I crazy? This also works. So she could be plan B. She could be plan B. Or A. I mean, honestly, A. Court of Calling her, like, just put her on the field, pending you have enough creatures. And again, we don't have to solely focus on legendaries. We can get some mana generating dorks in there as well. But yeah, I just want to turn to you guys, see how you feel about those thoughts, and then we can go from there. Okay. Josh, there you go. I'm here. 1 mana legends. I think that the 1 mana legends will actually be a good choice, legitimately. I do think that going with some 1-mana legends is a smart idea. I don't know. I just saw people suggesting more upkeeps. Oh, thanks, Boz. Trev, I use both Sphinx and Paradox in my Kodama deck. Okay. Jessica Ascendancy could be the way. Could be the way. Well, we'll look at that really quick. Okay. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures can get +1. Okay. Untap those creatures. Okay. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It could be a way, for sure. Could be a way. I'm here. Thank you for being here, Josh. But Graydon, the dog is great. Yes, Isamaru. Hope... No Isamaru, Josh. That's the first one I'm adding. Isamaru is the first one I'm adding. Are you knocking a vanilla 2/2 for 1? It's pretty good. It's honestly pretty good for the strategy. Like, I think ultimately I'll cut it, but I think it's pretty good. Rograk is less good in my opinion, but it's a 0 legendary, so there's that. Yeah, I don't know about that. Hope is fine, though. Hope gets in there, right? Like, at least you know the damage from Hope is going to go in. And Kythian would probably flip if we're focusing on creatures. Like, Kythian would actually flip, which is either good or bad for us. We kind of want it to remain a creature, but doesn't he? Yeah. Becomes a 4/4 human soldier creature with indestructible, but is it legendary? Is Gideon legendary or no? I don't know. Until your next turn, target creature gains indestructible. That's kind of cool, though, just for ramp purposes. The untap. Kythian this is maybe the deck for Kythian, though. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I said I would get to you guys. All legendary creatures. Fiend Artisan, potentially. I like that idea a lot. I'm sorry, I skipped a lot of your thoughts. Yes to Najila and Aggravated Assault. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Combos well with Najila. Why waste card quality on Food Chain, Freed, or Aggravated Assault? You could... I don't know about card quality. Like, if... the nice thing with Food Chain combos is that if you're... This is not going to be a Food Chain deck. I was just throwing something out there. But what's nice about it is if you are in a creature-centric list, it's very easy to get the mana that you need for creatures just by casting Food Chain. You can very easily snowball into doing the thing because you have all the creatures necessary to do the thing. I wouldn't say that this is a good list for it, though. That was just a thing to put in the air. 5-color tree tribal. She's god of the tree. We have to, right? Tree folk, squirrels, cards, tree art. Oh my god. Yeah, we could. She is god of the tree. You're right about that. I might settle for just putting in a Gaia's Cradle, but we could do that. Glad to see you. Let's see these combos. Casey, glad to see you too. I'm watching you. You're on my second monitor over here. Monkey seems like a must. All legendary creatures. The 1-mana legends you want are Ragavan, Valentin, and Hope of Girapur. Valentin, you're just making shit up. Oh, this one. I'll be the judge of the 1-mana creatures. I like Zergo. Can't block creatures with power. I like Zergo a lot. I don't know if Zergo is good, but I like Zergo a lot. If modular triggered, modular 1, destroy target artifact you control. That sounds good, right? Zabas, the Glimmerwasp gains flying until the end of turn. Only reason I like Zabaz is that it's one generic, so it doesn't matter what we have, we can cast it. Yeah, there are better than Isamaru. Rograk is a must. Yes, he's still legendary. Eternal. Thank you. If we have giant amount of dorks counting the tiny legends, we could cloud try to do Cloudstone loops. You could try to do Cloudstone. Yeah, you could. But flipping into Gideon is not great. All planeswalkers are errata to be legendary. No? Is that a fact? Is that a fact? If that's true, I mean, I still like it. I don't think it's... If the Gideon on the back end is a legendary creature, then yes. I don't see why this is a bad thing. Yes, the Planeswalkers were made legendary. They were just labeled it before the Planeswalker type determined it. They stayed on the field. How about the generic Thoracle console? Kyle, we could, but I don't see, that doesn't really play. When you add Thassa's Oracle, that's plan A. Right? I'm trying, that's not plan A here. Plan A is Najeela or Aggravated Assault. So let's just go ahead and do that now. Ignore this land base. This is a very generic land base. There are better land bases. I'd probably recommend you focus on a better land base. And potentially add in some core cards like Gaia's Cradle, which I'll probably put in right now. I say core. It's, who knows if it's going to be essential or not. Because I really don't know the makeup of this deck. But I'm putting in singles because I can very much imagine us relying on something like Tainted Pack. And if there is a Tainted Pack, then maybe, just maybe, you can add Thassa's Oracle. But really, fuck that card. Just screw it right up its butt. You really could, and that'd be okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and add some creatures. Let's add some creatures. So for me, personally, I don't, unless Rograk is buffed. Rograk is very useless by itself. Let's start there. First Strike, Menace, Trample, 0/1, these are not good things. If you have Esika out, it's great, right? But by and large, it's just a really shitty creature. However, with cards like, since we're going to add instants and sorceries, if we're using things like Diabolic Intent, I was thinking like Plunge, Infernal Plunge, Culling the Weak, like we're not going to run things like that. I don't imagine. I don't think we need the red or we need the black. So even still, I don't find Rograk great. At least for the build that's in my mind. Hope is fine. I think making people not cast spells is fine. We kind of need Hope to stick around, though, to win the game. But we could still do that. I think Hope makes sense. Hope of Girapur. Isamaru? Hell yes! I respect Isamaru. One of the better cold brews we've done. I'm sorry, brew masters we've done on the channel. Kythian is fine. I think Kythian's fine. And again, if Kythian becomes Gideon, and Gideon is a legendary creature, then sure. I think that makes sense. Put a 1/1 counter on Machias. You know, genuinely speaking, remove +1/+1 counter, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. Like, this seems cheeky, but it's not bad. Because the thing is, Machias, even if we played Machias as just a 1/1, it can very steadily grow into a 2/2 and just sort of snowball into a much bigger creature. What I like about Machias is that it helps with the go wide package later. Because all of our creatures, again, all of our creatures are vigilant and they make mana. So I can see Machias just being a really decent turn 3 drop, leaving mana open for countermeasures, but Machias being like a 4/4 where it enters instead, and that would be good. In the next turn, we can spread the love as a combat trick, right? Let's just say that someone makes a block that is perceivably good, and you tap Machias, again, being vigilant. You can tap Machias mid-combat and say, all of these things are +1/+1. And oh, that was a bad exchange. You just lost your thing. It's actually not a bad idea. And for the most part, Machias is probably just going to tap for 1/1 while it's attacking, right? It's vigilant. I just leverage the shit out of that. I think that Machias is actually pretty good. So I'll try it. In my mind, it seems good, okay? Yeah, Ragavan. I know. We see Ragavan. We all see. We all said Ragavan. And we got to choose the good one. We got to get foil, right? We spend $100, whatever they're at now. It's like 60, 80. What are these cards? I have no idea. Whenever someone plays a spell, I don't know about that guy. Avia, Pashiri, Sage Lifecrafter. Elf Warriors. That's interesting. I mean, it adds to, like, the Najeela count. If Najeela is, like, a mainstay, Reese could be kind of cool. And again, just bearing in mind that all of our things are vigilant when Esika's out and that Esika is a priority, it's actually kind of nice to have abilities that require a tap. Nice. But you can use them and still, you can attack with them and still use their ability. That's what I'm driving at. Valentin. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Yeah, it's probably not the end we're using. Menace Lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. If you do, you may pay. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this seems fine. This seems fine. Valentin. Yes. I kind of want to just throw a Deathrite Shaman in here right now. I feel like Deathrite Shaman's pretty good in most cases. I did see a request for Fiend Artisan, and that's still something we can do. Kinnan is a must. Okay. Delina Madomai is amazing. Oops, meant Ashaya. Make your Legends Forest that tap for anything? I don't... Nicholas, I'm not sure that's too... that might be too much. You run Noble and Ignoble? Yeah, you can run Noble and Ignoble. Let's do that. Noble Hierarch. Noble High. And then we got the Ignoble one, which is the new Jund one. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty dope. Those seem good to me. Zurgo Bellstriker, again, it's more or less the same thing as Isamaru, and we'll go with Zurgo Bellstriker. Again, a lot of these things will probably wind up getting cut pending. Like, I can't guarantee that all of these things are going to make it to the final cut, but thank you for auditioning. We appreciate your time. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, bolster 1. Anafenza has combos, but I'm not certain that I want to rely on them. I do think that we're probably going to stop at the 2 CMC mark so far as legendary creatures are concerned. I think anything 3 CMC and over, unless it's a core card, like maybe we can make a case for Derevi, then we might incorporate them, but otherwise, don't do it. Then I want to look at the top end of the spectrum. Like, what are the high-end legendary creatures that we're working towards? Because at a certain point, we should have an influx of dorks and legendary dorks to just cast big things, right? Baral, Chief of Compliance. I think Baral makes sense. Again, we are going to incorporate... I don't know if you were here for this, Josh, but I'm going to incorporate instants and sorceries. I will focus on the top end, but we're going to use instants and sorceries. That's really how you're going to ramp all this up. Put a 1/1 counter on each equipped... no, didn't even bother reading all that. Yeah, these seem okay. These all just seem okay. Your spells your opponent's control cast the target 1 or more commanders you control 3 more to cast. That's okay too. Fibblethip. Do we want to do the Fibblethip combo? Anyone? Anyone? At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, that's kind of cute, right? Yeah, it's probably not necessary though. Ragavan is such a good card. I think, Josh, you're underselling the whole go wide part of this list, right? Because you don't always need mana. Like, you don't have card draw in the command zone. You're relying on top deck magic. And in instances where you're just relying on the top of your deck to do things for you and you don't have anything in your hand, it's good to have actions on the field. And just because you can give +1/+1 counters doesn't mean you do that, right? And there's going to be plenty of turns where you just pass and your Ragavan and your Machias and your Esika tap for nothing because there was nothing you needed to do. So having options is always good. I think Machias is actually a really decent option for go wide. And I could be dead wrong, but I don't think I am. Kalain, Reclusive Painter. This is... I don't remember seeing this one. Enters the battlefield, create a treasure. Other creatures you control enter the battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it for each mana from treasure spent to cast them. Well, unless we focus Dockside Extortionist, right? Which someone was saying, you know, it would be cool to run Dockside Extortionist. You can make infinite mana with Dockside Extortionist, and then yes, right? But what is that mana doing for you? Is there a... Okay, so if we do Cloudstone and Dockside Extortionist, our top end is going to have legendary creatures that ETB and do something, right? Or even low end legendary creatures that do something, right? Like a creature that says, when it enters the battlefield, everything gets +1/+1 and trample. Well then, you know, I can logic that making infinite mana makes sense in this list, but making infinite mana for Esika, it's not useful, right? Dockside's still useful by itself, but I wouldn't say that is. This is kind of cool, Kari Zev. I don't think, why I like Kari Zev is... Oh, damn, that monkey's tapped and attacking, isn't it? Well, Karizev makes another legendary creature, but it's tapped and attacking. I thought it was at the beginning of combat. I forgot it's on the attack. That Kataki, though, seemed pretty good so far as the stacks piece is concerned. I don't know. We're going to run stacks, not stacks pieces. We're going to run fast mana, but I don't imagine that Kataki is going to stop us too much. Like, once we get the ball rolling on Esika, this guy, Spirit, is going to tap for mana, and then everything else is going to tap for mana, right? So we should be good. Shouldn't need our artifacts at that point. Humans you control get... Okay. Probably good. Whenever a commander you control attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. Alright. Again, we're getting to that part where it's just okay. Kinnan is good. Kinnan helps with the mana generation. It sort of falls in line with what the deck is trying to do. So I think Kinnan, Bond, or Prodigy makes a whole lot of sense. I believe someone suggested that a second ago, and yeah, I agree. Kataki seems fine too. 8.5 tails for protection. Yeah. Damn, Josh, do you want to make this deck for me? Getting a lot of naysaying. I mean, this is my take on the build. You can like it or leave it, I think, is ultimately what I'm saying. But I'm hoping it's good. And if it's not, then we just scrap the whole thing, right? But the idea being, or at least my working idea, is I want my creatures to do more than just tap for mana. Because while tapping for mana is useful, mana without anything to do is useless. So I would rather we had functional effects on the cards. Especially if it's in the 1 CMC slot and it's flexible in that sense. +1/+1 counter for each equal mana spent to cast it. Right. Remove all +1/+1 counters, prevent all damage. Oh, look at this guy. Ooh, is he on Boulder's Gate right now? Deals 1 damage to target player, loses 1 life, and mills. Nah. Okay. Yeah, we're getting to that point where these are getting pretty useless. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. You know, Lavinia is not so bad. It's just a stacks piece. Each opponent can cast non-creature spells with convert mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Lavinia is fine, I think. She seems fine to me. That's the Azorius Renegade, if I'm not mistaken. Golos would be so fun in this deck. Yeah, it would be. Too bad we can't use it. But yes, I agree. I agree with you. Such a shame. Let me see here. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. I mean, we're gonna do that. I mean, we're gonna... See, like, this is useful to me. Like, I got all this mana. She at least lets me use it, right? And if you guys don't know, I mean, this guy literally says it. Lucas, when you... oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not one of the ones that does it. But if you guys weren't following along for this Stranger Things, they all investigate. Investigations make clues. Clues allow you to tap them for 2 mana to draw a card, right? Or no, not even tap them. It's just better. I don't think you need to tap them. I think you just pay 2 and you draw a card. I don't know. Okay, so Lonus is fine. Again, it's so far as like the 2 CMCers are concerned, she seems like one of the better ones, so we can work with her. And obviously, the bottom effect is there too. Target opponent reveals top X cards of the library. You may put a non-land permanent card with a mana on the battlefield under control. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Good soup. All right, so Rada. Damn. Rada. Now, unfortunately, this mana does fizzle at the end of combat, right? It doesn't carry over as steps and phases end, but it's there. It's kind of cool to think she can generate 3 mana on combat. I can't think of an instance where casting Fork mid-combat is going to be super relevant. I don't really know if Rada makes sense. I will throw her on the sideboard, though. Maybe the list will function with that. It's not like we're doing... I mean, I can't think of a spell that is relevant to cast during combat. Do you have a Isochron Scepter kind of thing going on? Is there a... I can't think of a 2 CMC instant speed spell that will just benefit from having double red just in our mana pool. I don't know. Anyway, it's there. She's there. She looks cool. She might be useful. Oswald Fiddlebender. Sorry, my friend. I love you, but I don't think here. Safi seems pretty good. Safi seems pretty good. There are combos for Safi, but she's just good as a universally for keeping our relevant creatures alive. That's okay. I think she falls into the Rada section, though, of the deck. Like, potentially meaningful and then potentially meaningless. Justice for Rofellos, by the way. Can't beat the hero spell's abilities or opponent control. Okay, gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. So she'll scale fairly well. I don't know if she'll scale enough to be worthwhile. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you can that enter the battlefield under your control this turn. That's a little too situational. Embrose, put a 1 counter on another target creature when Embrose. Yeah, I'm good. Sacrifice an artifact. Sig at the beginning of each end step, an opponent lost seat. Now this seems fair. I think drawing cards with Sig makes sense. Like, because we're going to be putting damage on. So Sig makes sense to me. It's River Cutthroat, right? And the guide is the Azorius one. Okay. Let me see here. Don't skip by Magda. Okay, so the Dwarven tribal stuff is irrelevant. She won't tap on attacking, but she will tap because of Esika, right? Provided Esika's out. And then if you have this many treasures. So ultimately, I don't see us going for a dragon. Magda's only really good when you get the dockside out. Really, because this is going to be very slow rolling. The treasure creation. If she's the only one making treasures and she's the only dwarf we control, this is going to be very slow rolling. But what is the end game for Magda, right? So we said Najeela is our combo creature. Okay, is Najeela artifact or dragon? No, okay. Aggravated Assault. Is Aggravated Assault an artifact? No, it's not. So what artifact or dragon are we getting that's super relevant? Do we want to grab the Hellkite Charger? Like, is this a... And again, we need to get to 5 treasures. So we need to have Magda, get Dockside, hope no one has removal in response to Dockside on the stack. And then we get Hellkite Charger. That states, whenever it attacks, you may pay 7. If you do untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there's initial combat phase, right? So ultimately, you need at least 7 creatures and or... I mean, Rada... Rada's gonna help. The Heir to Keld is gonna help us. She just generates... Oh, she generates 3. That's like... Okay, maybe we keep Rada in. I don't think that is the best case scenario for Magda. Right? Is there something I'm missing with Magda? Is she like really... Is there something I'm missing here? Let me know if there's something I'm missing here. Magda, no, but she's combo, freed, and extra mana. Yeah, I guess 2 CMC mana gen. It's like when you compare it to something like Ragavan, you're like, this is kind of shitty, right? This is just okay compared to Ragavan, but it's still good. I get that. I would still put this over here. I would still put her over here. I think she's just okay. She's just okay. I'm not worried about extra mana, but it's cool. I mean, again, ultimately, the artifacts will help. Unless Kataki's down, and then the treasures are just going to go away. But yeah, it could be useful. Plarg, Dean of Chaos. I totally missed Plarg because the back end is kind of cute. Augusta. Like, I actually kind of like Augusta. Whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. That is kind of cool. Whenever you attack, untap each creature you control. So trigger on the stack, just tap everything. Then untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. That's kind of cool. That's like extra mana generation. Now I'm trying to think if there's a spell that works only in combat that's repeatable that would be good for this. Augusta with the Hellkite Charger, right? I'm not even joking. I am not even joking. I kind of like Augusta, but not enough. I don't know. Does Augusta, here, let me know. Do we do Augusta combo? Augusta combo? Augusta plus Hellkite Charger? Just tell it to me. Tell it to me, yes or no. Ah, damn it. Wait. Poll. Yes or no? Yes or no? Only the hard questions on the 99. But yeah, does Augusta seem cute? Is that something you want to do? Did the poll go up or not? There we go. Okay. Magna makes double mana. Yeah. It's just, it falls into the category of like Rada. Guys, mana's cool. Do you have anything to do with the mana? Based off of what's in the command zone, no. Like, extra mana is great. I need to know we have something to do with it. I think enough mana is better. Anything that's just making extra mana is useless to me. Like, if I'm generating treasures and I'm not doing anything with them and I'm just fueling docksides, I'm ultimately just going to crack those treasures anyways, right? Just to get them out of the way. If I see there is a reason for the additional mana generation beyond what we already have, then it'll make sense to me to incorporate more. But Magna is just okay. Like, just okay in my book. Again, I mean, extra mana. I mean, who needs extra mana when you're casting shit for free in blue anyways? But yeah, I mean, you could definitely add it. The Henge Hammer attacks another attacking creature, gets +X/+X, or X is Sir Farron's power. Nope. Targnar. Have you tried the Targnar? Yeah. Copy activator to trigger ability you control from an artifact source. Nope. None of these things. Thalia could kind of be cute as a stacks piece, but I don't really see us being a stacks deck. I think there are elements of stacks in this deck, and that's great. I think Thrasios is gaseous, as the kids say. That's a good card. That's where I want my mana going. He would be good with Magda, because then I'll have 2 of the 4 I need, right? So maybe we put Magda now. But yes, you could do that. And it works at instant speed, so even like something like Rada, again, like, do you have something to do with mana? Thrasios says yes, but we're not playing with Thrasios in the command zone, so we don't always have Thrasios. However, we do have Green Sun Zenith. And I like Thrasios, so, despite me not playing blue. Well, I mean, with infinite mana, Will's a combo, right? But I don't think we're going there. Honestly, guys, by the way, I'm going to take a second to just talk to you. This is the largest part of the deck build. This is by far the most difficult aspect of this deck, deciding which legendaries we roll with. Because honestly, the rest of this is going to be a cakewalk. Like, all of the tutors suites we need, all of the fast mana suite, like, all of the interaction. What stops this combo? Not being able to activate enchantments, check, nothing stops us from doing that. That I can think of, that anyone practically uses. There's that one white enchantment that makes activated abilities cost 2 more to cast, but that doesn't activate. That doesn't stop us. Things like Cursed Totem, Linvala, Keeper of Silence would stop Najila. But that's it. So far as removal is concerned, we can kind of limit the amount we actually roll with unless we're trying to stop certain things. So for the most part, we're going to use the best interaction in the game, which is counter. By the truckload. We're just going to put all the countermeasures because we've got all the mana sufficient to do that. And we're going to answer some of the things that come our way, but not all of the things because it's a 4-person game and it's not on you to stop everything. So we're going to have a lot of countermeasures to just deal and a lot of draw utility. Like a lot of draw utility because this deck doesn't have it. So Dark Confidant, Esper Sentinel, Dark Tutelage, Sylvan Library, Mystic Remore, all of that stuff. All of that stuff's in the deck. So all of that's easy. It's just this part. So I want to square this away. We can add in some dorks and we can discuss which dorks we want. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Thrasios and Gretchen. Don't forget Time of Need. Yeah. Josh, do you use Time of Need? Actually, do you use Time of Need in this deck? Because it does find a legendary creature. That's so funny. This might be the one deck for Time of Need. Any rate, Anafenza is one of my favorite legendaries, by the way. But yes, she exists. +1/+1 counter and another target tapped creature you control. I love Anafenza so much, but she's not right for this deck. I do think, again, that we are at that point where I should be looking at the top end of our legendary suite at things that will functionally allow us to win the game, right? So with Baron Master Wizard, yes, you can do infinite mana with Dockside Extortionist. And if infinite mana was relevant, right? So we need the creature that ETBs and does a thing, or we need Thrasios, or we need Iona, Lonus. So Baron Master Wizard, if you guys don't know how this functions, if Dockside Extortionist enters the battlefield and creates 4 treasures, pay 2, sacrifice a treasure, bounce... No, Dockside Extortionist back to your hand. You need bloop, bloop. You need to make this many treasures. 6. I was just working out the math for the actual thing. But if you make 6 treasures, then it's 2, 1, cast Dockside, and you come out ahead. Okay. So Baron Master Wizard's kind of cool. He counts as a wizard. He's useless elsewise. Like a very useless legendary. But it's a 1/1 that taps for any colored mana. It's an A plus B combo with Dockside, though. So if you like that, then we can do it. But I'm going to close out the Augusta poll so we can do the Baron Dockside poll. And I didn't actually look at that poll, but we'll see what you guys agreed on if Augusta makes sense for the list. I think she does, but I don't know she hits the mark, so I'm curious to see. Yeah, no, 56%, yes, 43%. And I was just adding in a flavor card, a combo card for Augusta, Hellkite Charger. I do think Augusta is cool for double dipping on the mana pool, but it's only relevant during your combat phase, right? Because it's when attacking. However, I do think Baron poses a more interesting question. So Baron plus Dockside? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, so Revoker. I don't know. Okay. Muffins suggested Revoker, and I don't know what we're doing. We are making an Esika build using Esika and legendary creatures to get the most out of all the legendaries in the world of MTG, right? Actually, is there a thing for Sisay in here? But essentially, this is a legendary creature top half of Esika build, so no Prismatic Bridge. Need interaction for Coast Totem and Linvala. That's predominantly it, Eternal. I think that would be it. Nin Pain Artist. Nin Pain Artist. So she is the... Is it... I'll just look her up, unless I just passed her here. So Nin Pain Artist? Meep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop. This better be really good. Deals X damage to target creature. That creature's controller draws X cards. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, Nin Pain Artist. Because you know what, baby? I'm down for a little bit of pain. Yeah, that sounds really freaking good. Thank you for the suggestion. I totally forgot she existed. Thank you. That is a great call. And Pain Artist is great. You're gonna just self-inflict. Esika's a 1/4, mind you. So if you've got nothing to do, spank her. Let's give her a little spank. Draw a couple of cards. It's gonna be a good thing. Where the hell was I? I want Baron. Let me know, and we'll get to it. Okay. Now, and I like Baron because Baron and Dockside is its own self-enclosed thing. And if we have a payoff on the battlefield, all we need to do is tutor for Baron. And because of green, we're in 5 colors, we have the most tutors for creatures. So making this a creature-based combo is actually a really good idea because it's going to be the most efficient way to execute a win with this particular build. So I do like Baron in that sense. Chatterfang, that seems cool. Cody Vociferous Codex. I don't know about Cody. It's easy to cast Cody, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may draw a card. Is Edric too much value for your opponents? Is Edric too much value for your opponents? Shit, that's the poll I really want to run. Okay. And it looks like it's a no on Baron. And that's fair. That's fairin'. I can see why you guys wouldn't want to run the Baron. It's just not very good by itself, right? But is Edric Spymaster of Trest potentially good? There are cEDH decks built around Edric, but is this too much value for your opponents? And think in a cEDH setting, there are generally not that many creatures on the battlefield, but that one Crom will get the benefit of drawing, right? So whenever creature looks, but it's not going to be you they're drawing from. So is Edric okay? Is Edric okay? I do see something that is okay. Derevi. So whenever Derevi enters the battlefield or a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent. Now, this is sort of the same thing as Augusta, if we're being honest, right? But obviously, in a world where we get closed out by like a Dranith Magistrate, that's another thing we need to be considering. Derevi lets our creatures still have value with Najeela. I know it's weird that they're both in the 99, but I can see Derevi being a value piece regardless. And the fact that it lets you tap or untap target permanent, just any, it could literally be an opposing Trinisphere that's stopping you. It could be anything, which is really crazy. I don't think there are layers to Derevi beyond it just being a combo piece that make it very good. So in my mind, in a go-wide strategy where we care about damage, I can see Derevi being useful. I do think that we need to use our own Dranith Magistrate in this list, despite us not incorporating that many stacks creatures and trying to avoid any non-legendary. I do think that Dranith is good. It might get cut regardless, but I will want to put in a Derevi to see if it functions well. I do think that it is going to help with the mana ramp. But again, this is only on combat. Again, though, Thrasios, Lonis, there are things that'll benefit off of this still. So it's not a bad call. Let me see here. I think Emiel is better than Baron. Yeah, and you can do both. And yeah, but we haven't gone to Emiel. Baron is just a lower CMC, but for this list, it wouldn't be difficult to cast Emiel. Emiel's 4 CMC, if I'm not mistaken, if you guys don't know Emiel. It's the one that blinks things, and we'll probably get to her or him in a second. But let me see here. If you draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library instead. You may play those cards this turn. This is new, right? Is this not Crimson Vow? Is this good? That's good. This is good. Paul Jackson. Holy shit. Wow, I kind of just want to play it now. Okay, so this is also the first card you draw each turn. So it makes your draw an impulse draw of 2. That's really good. Am I crazy? Is that really good? Or am I crazy? In a list that just makes mana, in a deck that just makes mana, having your draws become impulsive draws can be really good. And it says play those cards. So like we can get our land drop, we can cast our creature or tutor or whatever it is. And also you can sort of time this around top deck tutors, right? So if you know that you can get a draw, say Timna's in the list, but she'll probably be in the list. Say you have the Vamp Tutor in hand, you can convert that into what you needed, coupled with your land per turn, your Gaia's Cradle, right? Or whatever it is. Well, you wouldn't really know about the second card, would you? But that's just the kind of value you're getting. You're just getting a bunch of shit. I don't know. I like Urith enough. I don't know if it's great, but I just want to use... Wait, I just want to use that art. Let's see if we can get it. Tormented Prophet? Tormented Prophet. Let me see here. So I know for fact... Nope, it's not going to show up yet. There is a way to do it. Will it let me put it in there even if it doesn't exist yet in the database here? No, it won't. It used to just let you put a placeholder. Man, I really skip validation. There we go. Is this it? No? I want to use that. That looks so good to me. All right. Well, I'll put Timna in regardless. And maybe I'm crazy. You guys can let me know. That seems really good. I don't know how else I said that multiple times. I don't know how else I can put it. That's such a really cool card. It also works really well with Edric, right? So where are we on Edric? I think it's probably time to close the Edric poll. We'll see what you guys think on Edric. I think that it can be damning, but by and large, we're going to get the most out of it. Is the hope, right? And again, I said 2 CMC, but 3 CMC might be the cutoff, and then we'll look at the top end of the legendary field. 60-40. So 60-40 on Edric's by Master of Trust. Okay. I like it a lot. Do I like it as much as Urith? You just, oh God, imagine this with Edric. I really just want something to be in the deck as a placeholder. Food, what is the first sliver. The first sliver will represent our Urith. How about that? I'm sorry. I gotta put it in. And we're gonna go to the foil remastered. There you go. Yes. That is Urith. I gotta know what she's like. It looks awesome. Both arts are amazing. Okay, I'm done. Moving on. We'll talk about this later. It could be complete awful, but it could also be really cool. And I'm really crossing my fingers on really cool. We'll see. And we can discuss MEL in a second too. As a matter of fact, I think that is the more relevant poll right now. So MEL plus Dockside, which is to state, do we add? Do we add? And let me know. This is just incorporating MEL. Dockside is in the deck already. Okay. I'm sorry. I definitely I haven't looked at your comments, so give me 1 second. Also, Yusri, yes, Nicholas, but Brina is better. Yes, it's good. It's pretty good. I'm definitely building a casual deck around it. Sounds fine here. Comparing the two, yep, I agree, Joshua. Brina would do the job while mitigating the value of opponent's get. Not good if you want to build and save interaction. Thoughts on Gaddock Teague? I don't know if Gaddock Teague does enough. It's just a very... Well, I think Josh might have said it right there, actually. Teague is okay, but gets cut. Stops calling Ritual ad nauseum and PETA. PETA and ad nauseum are huge in the meta. This is a fact. This is a fact. You could put Riel in as a placeholder. Same mana. Oh, thank you. We did the first sliver. It seemed logical. We did the first sliver though, but thank you. She just seems really cool. I didn't see that card, so I'm happy that that was a new card. That just seems really dope. I'm sorry, I'm going through these really quickly because I kind of just want to get to the meat and potatoes of the deck, and then obviously test this out with you. If I miss anything, let me know. If there's anything of interest to you, let me know. I'm going to stop at the 4 CMC mark, so we shouldn't see MEL, and that's why I'm posing this question. MEL and Dockside, is this something you want to do? There's a poll in the chat, so go ahead and get your opinion in. I'm going to cut the poll right at 5:05, so 4 minutes from now. Draw a card, then you may return a land you own to its owner's hand. That's kind of cute. That's okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/2 cat. Nah. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put a study counter on it. God, what a ass backwards thing to do. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I've always wanted to play Kethis, by the way. I'm obsessed with Abzan. I don't know why. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Until end of turn, each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. So, our Najeela combo, if Najeela dies, you can use Kethis to exile the Ragavan and the Isamaru that died from that pyroclasm, and cast Najeela from your graveyard. Is Kethis enough? I don't think so. Not at that mana cost. It's just too prohibitive. But very cool thought. I mean, this is a legendary tribal deck. Like, if we're being honest with each other, it's legendary tribal. So it does have a home, but it's not very good. Isn't he banned? Okay. Okay. Had to check. These are all okay. I don't know. Do we add the 4 CMC Mangara and Crom? Like, they're just good creatures. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. But I'll at you all in just a second on if I'm missing any cards that you think are vital. Here's an Enters the Battlefield effect. Mill a card. I don't know if we're going to do a self-mill strategy here. I mean, I don't think so. We're not going to do a self-mill strategy. Wouldn't want to do that. I'm just, again, going right over these. I want to see if there's anything super crucial. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands from the top of your library. If it was creatures, that'd be super dope. No, this Rod is not cutting it. This Rod ain't cutting it. Rod gets +X. No, don't care about that. Riel, whenever you discard one card, yeah, this is the one that was suggested as a replacement. Copy target instant sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Well, I don't think there's anything too vital in the instant sorcery slot that we're going to be doing. I love Savala. Don't really make much sense here. Okay. And Sisei. Search your library for a legendary permanent card with a converted mana cost of less than Sisei's power. Put that card on the battlefield. I almost feel like Sisei might have a home here. I don't see why not. Like most of the things we're, okay. I mean, really, the big play would be getting our Najila out, right? That obviously. But we can also get Derevi out at the same time, so you can sort of build up the combo. You can build up the combo very easily with Esika. So that's not so bad. If you go into Derevi and then into... If you go into Derevi and then you go into Najila, and her power only needs to be... Let me see here. Mana cost less than Sisei's power, so her power just need to be 4. She should get there very easily, I guess is what I'm saying. So this could be very easy to do, very easy to accommodate, and she doesn't need to attack her. She just needs to be there, right? And she can tap for mana herself, provided she had haste, or is not summoning sick. That's not so bad. Tetsuyo Umizawa? Anyone? I do like creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter tapped, because this means that we're always going to get in there. And I really like Thada Adele. Like, this is a card that's just not played. She might not be played here either, though. I do like this as a stacks piece. I think Thalia Heretic Cathar is really slept on, too. Namely because Thalia, it's letting us get in there, and it's also slowing down their mana base, and hopefully Kataki's hitting them on the other end with their artifacts, right? So we should be able to control the pace of the game fairly well with those two. Obviously, those are just 2 cards. We already put Tymna in the deck. I mean, it just makes sense. Whether you're using Tymna in the command zone or not, it's one of those cards you just always use. That is amazing art. Whenever you cast a... Nope, don't want that. Vendilion Click. I didn't even know this card was legendary. I like that it's flash, though. Look at target player's hand. You may choose an online card from it. If you do, that player reveals the chosen card, puts it on the bottom of their library, then draws a card. That's okay. I think in a one-on-one setting, that's a little bit better. Okay. I said I was going to close this a minute ago. So everyone wants Emiel. It appears. I think it got 82% vote. So let's go ahead and add Emiel the Blessed. Emiel the Blessed. Kethis is good, usually cut, but good. Nyambi in here? No, she's not. Reconnaissance, I think, might fit. Reconnaissance sounds cool. Reconnaissance, that sounds really cool, actually. I could see Reconnaissance being in here, actually. Yeah, let's add Reconnaissance. Again, this is really only going to be useful if the Thrasios, if there's like the payoff on the field, but it allows you to, at the end of your combat step, you can tap for mana and then use Reconnaissance to untap all your creatures as if they didn't attack, right? And I can just look at that really quick so we all know what I'm referring to. Sorry. Remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. So because it costs 0 to activate, you can do that with all your creatures, and you can just spend the mana you get from tapping them to do anything. Right? Very, very cool. I like that. All right, we're almost at the 4 CMC mark, and then I want to move on to other cards. None of these seem good. What are these? I've never seen these cards. If one or more tokens would be... I mean, yes, is this overkill with Dockside? Definitely overkill. Okay, so what I want to do now is look at the top end. The top end, so descending order. And I want to see what you guys are thinking about life. Gaddock Teague also stops a few relevant planeswalkers. Gaddock Teague also stops Aetherflux Reservoir. Seedborn Muse, you say? Seedborn Muse, you say? Is Seedborn Muse a legendary? She doesn't have to be, if we're being honest. If Thrasios was in the command zone, I would say yes. As it stands, I'm not entirely certain it's a great inclusion. Right? Jin Gitaxias is one of those cards that's just a pain in the ass. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. So here's the thing. It doesn't happen immediately. Like, they get a turn to do something, and then they discard their hand. Well, unless they're playing 11, right? And their maximum hand size becomes 11, and then they would go down to 4. But that's a rare occasion. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Like, this is just a good reanimate target. It's also a flash creature. So if we did have any of those untapped shenanigans during combat, you can just flash in Jin Cataxius. It's another one of those things where you mostly see Jin Cataxius as a reanimate thing, but it's actually very easy to accommodate in lists that are generating a lot of mana to just do this. And because we need draw, this is actually a really good creature, in my mind. It's the top end. It is the top end. Obviously, this isn't going to be your best friend early to mid-game, but you can get there. So I don't see why we wouldn't want to incorporate Jin Cataxius, although I do put an asterisk on that. We might not be doing the thing we want to be doing quick enough to even allow for us to cast Jin. But I do want to at least put it to the side. There was a Secret Lair edition. I didn't even know. I just want to see what that looks like. Oh, damn. Oh. What? Now we've got to run Jin Cataxius. I didn't know there was a Phyrexian version of Jin Cataxius. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to run that. We're going to run that right in the deck. That's really cool. Again, that's very easy to cast. Things like this are going to be a little harder to cast. Again, mostly because we have some untapped shenanigans in combat and it has flash. So I think our top end probably stops there and we can look at the rest of these things under it. There aren't going to be many things I'm going to want to include at all. They just need to be packed full of value. I believe someone mentioned Razaketh. Razaketh would be fine. We're not relying on Underworld Breach or any sort of skinny combos. We're very much slow rolling and relying on a creature-based strategy, right? So this will be time-consuming to set up the board state to allow for this combo, and Najeela and Aggravated Assault are going to rely on our creatures being there. So does Razaketh make the most sense to me for this particular strategy? Not necessarily. But if it's something that you want to incorporate and just work in a Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation, and something like that, that's something you can very much do, and that's fine. Do it. Do it! After I'm done looking over all of these, I'm definitely going to want to see your thoughts on this. I think Elish Nord can also go in. Very costly. It's not going to happen as easily as Jin, in my opinion. But there's also a Phyrexian version of her that we're going to slam right now. So, yeah, we'll put both the Praetors. Let me see here. But yes, I definitely want your thoughts and opinions on some creatures, just some core creatures. They don't have to be legendary creatures that you think would be good in the deck, and we can incorporate them. And then we'll just throw in the general suite of good stuff that we're going to want. And of course, we'll go over that in an order that I'll specify in just a second, and you guys can help me with just stringing that all together. What is this? Is this the, I don't know if I actually read through this card. At the beginning of each end step, nope, doesn't seem good. It's a lot of words that incorporate slime. Don't want that. Nothing to say. Nothing to say there. I think our top end is done. I really do think it's done. Ooh. What? Orokus? Is this what is this? It's not a card. It's not a card we can play. Yeah. I've never seen that. That's kind of cool. All right. Anyway, I'll turn to you guys. What do you think? What other cards would you like to incorporate in this list? And what I'll do is I'll go out here. We're going to look at our Esika creature no bridge build. These are all of our creatures. All of our creatures. Everything else is going to be either instant sorcery artifact or... I mean, we need to add Aggravated Assault, apparently. I didn't put that in the list yet. But our main wins are going to be Najeela, who's also not on the list. What the hell? What are we doing? Wait. Okay. Aggravated assault. Najila, the Blade Blossom. Okay. There we go. Now let's look at the deck. Yes. Yes. Okay, so what else do you want to incorporate? What other big picture items should we put in this list? What makes sense to you? Bear in mind, we can green Sun Zenith either Thrasios or Lonus as an outlet to go with our Dockside Emiel. All right, and Emiel is this white creature here. We didn't discuss the combo, but it generates infinite mana. Let alone it also generates infinite artifacts, which isn't relevant for us, particularly in this particular deck, but it's something you can do. So we've got a lot of creatures here. Obviously, we're going to cut a few things. There are no basic dorks in this deck, and our curve is actually not as high as I thought it would be, but it is 2.45. So any other creatures, any other big picture items you want to include? I'm going to go to the big old face cam before we conclude this. All right, hit me up. What do you want? Yeeson seems good. Oh, does it now? I've been thinking of including Amara as a low end. I like getting 1/1s with lifelink when I tap a creature for mana. Amara, you say? I'll look at Amara and I will just read what Amara does for everyone. How about that? Is Amara with 2 M's? Okay. Whenever Amara, Soul of the Accord, becomes tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. That seems kind of cool, actually. I don't see why that's a bad thing. 2 for a 2/2. The bodies are somewhat relevant, right? Okay. Jin doesn't combo very well with Urith. No. Let's just hope they're not on this battlefield at the same time. How about that? Man, every Praetor art is so sick. I agree. What are we making? If you go to the link in the description, you can follow along. There are Phyrexian versions of all Praetors thanks to a recent Secret Lair. That is sick. Thank you, Matthias, for putting that out. I had no idea. Eurocus is given to Workers of WotC. Very cool. Do you already play Derevi? Derevi is in the build. You want to add Bop? You want to add Bop. Birds of Paradise makes sense. And so far as we have Deathrite Shaman, Birds of Paradise, Ragavan as like dorks. Sans, Esika. That seems fair. I do think it's about time though. I'm not seeing any suggestions for new creatures. I guess we're all shot. You let me down, people. I was getting a lot of creature suggestions earlier when I wasn't looking and not caring. Let me know if there's a creature you want though and we can add it. But let's go ahead and start with Fast Mana Suite. All the fast mana. Go. Just hit me up. Fast mana. Go. Jeweled Lotus? Sure. And we want Soul Ring, Mana Crypts, like usual. Right, I'm a little iffy on anything beyond these, though. You can do Mox Amber. Mox Amber is good because it's going to be on a majority of the time. Like, we've got a lot of legendaries, right? So Mox Amber makes sense to me. I don't think Mox Opal quite makes sense for this. I do think things like Simeon Spirit Guide, Elvish Spirit Guide are still good, but I don't know if these are the best. Like, they're the same thing as like a Lotus Petal in most instances, but they are solely for the colors that they provide. And this isn't fast mana in the sense that it's an artifact. These are more ritual fast manas. Fast manas. But you get what I'm saying. You get where we're going, mate. Okay. Jeweled Lotus, Mox Diamond, all of the signets. Vault, signets, Mana Crypt, Chrome Mox. Mana Vault I'm going to refrain from. I'm not sure anything needs that much generic. Well, that might be a lie. Like, I'll add the Mana Vault for now. I don't think it's going to be essential, but I'll add it. Because the generic, we're going to make a lot of mana ultimately. So where's that generic going? I really don't know. Unless it's an early Jin Gitaxias, right? Or early Elish Norn, which is a very relevant and real thing. The signets to me are less useful. Like, obviously they play in extremely well with a Mana Crypt or a Soul Ring. Like, obviously, the Signets play very well. I almost feel like the Talismans are better. I would rather lose the life. Like, we're not relying on life as a resource in this build, so I would rather use the Talismans before I went to the Signets. But I'm not sure how much, if any, of these we should incorporate. Like, I'm not really certain we need to incorporate any of these. I could be wrong. I'll do Arcane Signet, though. Fighting a sneeze. Oh, sneeze! Don't do it now! Ugh, don't do it. Don't do it, not live. Not in front of people. Okay, oh god, thank you. Okay, we're there. We're alive. Basalt with Kinnan. Basalt with Kinnan, you say? Doesn't Kinnan require colored mana, though? Basalt with Kinnan? I don't know. What's Infinite Generic do for me? What does it do? What does the Infinite Generic do? If you can give me a good reason for Basalt Monolith with Kinnan. Because again, like that means we're really focusing on Kinnan, which I don't honestly think we're doing often. Like, this is a better, like, if I were to use a Green Sun Zenith and I just needed ramp and I had the legendary creatures out, Kinnan makes a lot of sense, right? And that makes more sense than, like, slamming a bunch of Signets or Talismans, in my opinion. Because making mana for the sake of having mana is just okay. It's the same thing I've been arguing this whole time. Chromatic Orrery! Phew! Looking fly with a new cut. Thought I was watching a real old video for a minute when I tuned in. Matt P. Alive. This is a projection from the past. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Reki turns a third of your deck into cantrip cards. Reki. Reki, you say. Whenever you play a legendary spell, draw a card. I like it. Tell me the history. Oh, shit. Oh, you know, we're going for the SL foil, baby. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you for that. Progenitus for the meme. Call the week. Talismans of the biggest colors of the deck. I could see you wanting to go for, like, it's probably blue and green, maybe. I actually don't know what the color pie is here, but we can look at it. If we feel like we need them, we can add them. Is what I'm saying. If you're going for Infinite Generic, you should be on Walking Ballista. We're not going for Infinite Generic, though. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can make a reason for Basalt with Kinnan, like, I know it's Infinite Generic, but what is Infinite Generic to me? Like, I don't care. I don't care about Infinite Generic. You can play Staff of Domination and sink infinite mana into it. See, again, like, you can do that, but that's very far aside from our main strategies here, which are Najeela with creatures, Aggravated Assault with creatures, MEL with Dockside, and a payoff on the battlefield, right? So that's 3 things. I think that's probably enough. So let's save and continue. Any rituals you can think of that make sense for this deck, and I think it's very important that we look at our color pie now, because we're on the low end for red. We can look over here too. We don't have much red. We don't have much black. We've got a lot of blue, white, and green. We have a lot of white. This is rare. This is not normal. This is not normal. There's no rituals for white. I think there's no. How do we make up for the white? Yeah, we've got, okay, green, blue, and white. Never thought I'd tell you that. Let's just add the tutor suite first. I think that this value is going to change, but what I'm driving at is I also wanted ritual mana. If I'm being honest with you, there aren't very many rituals on use. Like, outside of maybe Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame doesn't help us put Esika down, though, right? And we don't have much red. Even the Simian Spirit Guide feels a little weird, but at least it makes up for those generic cost. Let's just add our tutor suite. Already know I want Enlightened Tutor, right? I know I want Vampiric Tutor. And I'm thinking of Najeela, Aggravated Assault, MEL Dockside. Creature, 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 enchantment. So those are the tutors we're going to prioritize here. Does that mean we add in every single tutor? No, hell no. But we're going to add in a lot of creature-based tutors, or just general tutors, right? So Diabolic Intent is one. Obviously, Demonic Tutor is another. Wishclaw Talisman is fine. We knew Wishclaw Talisman here. We're going to do Eladamri's Call. And we'll also do Worldly Tutor. Sylvan Tutor, I'm still iffy on. Like, Imperial Tutor is the one exception I'll make because it's anything. But I don't find Sylvan Tutor that good, especially in 5 colors. Like, you can be doing much better things. I'm sorry, Imperial Seal. We'll do Imperial Seal here. And did we get all of the main black ones? I'm sorry. Vamp, Diabolic, Demonic, Wishclaw, Imperial. Those are sort of the core black ones. There's Scheming Symmetry. Don't want Scheming Symmetry. Unless our Ragavan's down. Or we can dash Ragavan. Then we want Scheming Symmetry. Praetor's Grasp is just okay here. There's not that much value we can steal from an opposing deck outside of like their Mana Crypt or something stupid. We steal their win condition and leave it like face down. That's cute of us. Don't feel like doing that. We're going to do Green Sun Zenith though. We're also going to do Finale of Devastation. We're also going to do Court of Calling. Because even if Esika gets removed, at least it has the Convoke cost on it, so we can leverage that to cheat out whatever the hell we want. And bearing in mind that creatures are our win con, Natural Order is not very good here, although it is another creature tutor. There are things like Eldritch Evolution that we can rely on, and we can also do the other one, the blue one that I don't care about. What is it called? Search Library Creature. I'm going to remember what it is as soon as I see it, and you guys are probably going to hit me up with whatever it is. Not Genesis Wave, Neoform. Thank you, Neoform. Yeah, Neoform's a good one for this deck. Because our win cons are 3 CMC, 3 CMC, and 4 CMC. No, 2 CMC, 3 CMC, 4 CMC. Sure. So yeah, we will hit all of them. Summoner's Pact is Summoner's Pact is actually okay here. Can you imagine a world where we have the infinite mana, but we don't have the payoff? Summoner's Pact, right? And I will actually say that Cloudstone Curio does have a home here. Like, it actually does. In the same sense that we can rely on Emiel, we can rely on Cloudstone Curio, right? So then if we have that or that as a catalyst for this, Summoner's Pact, Thrasios, what the... No? Okay. Yeah, we'll do Summoner's Pact because it will actually get us a win, right? So I don't mind that. For the most part, it's going to be just okay. But, on the off chance it's more than okay, I don't know that there's any more. Someone suggested Fiend Artisan. I think Fiend Artisan's really cute. I like it. It's a little slow for this deck. Survival of the Fittest is gas, though. So we will do Survival of the Fittest. And again, we need to make space for a lot of stuff. I don't know about shared creature types, so I'm not even going to think about that. Rush Rebirth is gas, but there's too much stuff in this deck. Time of Need is just a little too cute for this particular strategy. I think we're at capacity for our tutors. Obviously, you can also incorporate things like Mystical Tutor. All right. Maybe that'll help us. And... any other creature, any other tutors in your mind that you think would be good for this? Throw them at me. I'd love to know. I need to know your thoughts. Let's save this out. We're going to have to cut a lot of stuff. I'm absolutely certain. Varagov Bloodsky, Birthing Pod. Birthing Pod is a thing. Birthing Pod is a definite thing. I don't know if we want the pod... I don't know if we want the pod. We can, though. If we pod and then get into a Derevi, Birthing Pod into Derevi, untap, Dockside, swing. There's a combo here. I'm not trying to think about it, but there's a way we can Birthing Pod to a win. I'm fairly certain, so... that doesn't seem like a bad idea. Also, what's that girl that she's a 4 CMC? What is she? The slime lady? Where be the slime lady? What is her name? Vanifair. There it is. Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less. Sacrifice creature converted cost. Put that card on the battlefield. The Elf Ooze Wizard. Prime Speaker Vanifair. Prime Speaker Vanifair. Do you want... Do we... Okay, so Birthing Pod, yes. Do we Prime Speaker Vanifair? Do we? Do we? I'm going to go for the Taint. Did pack. And I'm also going to go for... We can do Limdol's Vault. Why not? I'll take a tour of the vault. Okay, guys. Counters. All the counters. Every counter. Give me the counters. What counters? You know some counters? Tell me the counters. Prime Speaker Vanifair. That poll is going to end in 5 minutes. Do we Prime Speaker Vanifair? Because we can definitely pot into a win with her. I think. I'm not going to try that hard to think too hard on this one, but I think we can do it. We'll see in action. But she's also green, so it's not very difficult to get her with the Green Sun Zenith, the Summoner's Pact, yada, 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 yada. Bearing in mind, we don't have ways to haste enable outside of like a Finale of Devastation. That's very fat. All your favorite counters, go. It's not a counter, I know. Deflecting Swat. We're also going to do Deadly Rollick. I'm getting your counters, and then I'm putting in the stuff that I generally use, okay? Any other free spells outside of blue that are good? God. What kind of world? What world is this? No. Okay. Pact of Negation. Fierce Guardianship. Force of Will. Force of Negation. Stop playing Magic. Okay. Vanifair. Jealousy. Veil of Summer, you sweet, beautiful man. Or girl, I don't know. Veil of Summer. Thank you, you beautiful person. I like it. I do like Veil of Summer. She's a creature that does basically the same. Yeah. I've also used the Taint to clear a library. It's really good for individual cards. Yeah, it's good for individual cards. You can stop anytime. Like, at instant speed, you can say, off turn, I'll Taint. I dig 8 deep. Demonic Tutor, stop. My turn. Demonic Tutor, get the thing I need. You don't always need to go for the card. If you can go for card 1, that goes into card 2, that goes into card 3, provided it's efficient enough, then that logic's right. And we're making a lot of mana. That's all the deck does. It's just making mana. It's really just making mana. Okay. Spore counters, Deflecting Swat. All the free counters. Flusterstorm. Alright, I'll do some good ones. Flusterstorm. Okay. Flusterstorm. Oh god. We're gonna do Swan Song. We're gonna do Delay. We're gonna do Mana Drain. I don't know why. I don't know. Why not? Miscast. Dispel. Mental Misstep. Just trying to remember all the ones I get hit by constantly. Spell Snare. Anything else? Force of Vig? You want Force of Vigor? You got it. It's okay. Force of Vigor's okay. You're correct in that. I'm gonna put it in a natural state because I'm a strict biatch for that card. I like me a good natural state. And that might be it. I don't know how many things of artifact enchantment removal we need. I would rather see some creature removal before any more of that. Okay. Give me some creature removal that you like too while we're at it. Just 1 or 2 good pieces of creature removal that you'd love. And we'll add that as well. Not a counter, but it's interaction. It's fine. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Lightning Greaves seems really good. Also, Massed Haste enables. would be good. Drown in the Loch. I can go for Drown in the Loch here. I could go for Drown in the Loch. Let's save this out. Let's save this out and see where we're at. I know we're going to be over 100, like no matter what, because we're not done. We're definitely not done. Island, Praetor, Bird, Hub, competitive, infinite combo, infect, Hive Mind. Done. Okay. What else do we want? What else do you want? Cyclonic Rift, you son of a snitch. Yeah, Cyclonic Rift sounds pretty damn good. Yeah, Cyclonic Rift is one of those you just run it. You just run it. I think Chain of Vapor is also pretty decent because it hits everything. That's all I want. That's all I want in life. I just want to hit everything. Okay, we need now, we have all the tutors, all of the manas, all the counters, some interaction, very loose interaction. You could probably make an argument for more, but we need to make a lot of cuts. See these hands? This is me making a lot of cuts. Let's go. Oh my god. The Vanifar poll ends. I need to go back. I was not looking at it. Apparently you all like Prime Speaker Vanifar. Okay. Done. Done for you. It's all for you. Adding Prime Speaker Vanifar. Converted cost. Okay, so Birthing Pod, Wishclaw Talisman, Arcane Ceded, Mana Vault. I'm a little iffy on still. I don't think we need it. I don't think we need it. I mean, I don't think we need it. No. No. We shouldn't need it. No. I do want to reduce our land counts, and looking at the pie, it looks like black and red are the least useful colors, so a Badlands? A Badlands? Let's harness Citadel. I know it seems crazy, but at least I can tutor for Badlands. Alright, so Eldritch, Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent, Finale of Devastation, Neoform, Imperial Seal, Green Sun Zenith. These all seem really great. Is Eldritch Evolution just too much? Is it too much? No. Not really. And this is Urith. Ignore this beautiful foil. That's Urith. Who I'll leave up here. So that we can look at her when we're playing. Oh my god. Okay. Urith? This one though. This one. Oh my god. It's so good. Is save image. Yeah, save image. No, open image in a new tab. Blam. Yes. In case we need a reference. Oh, Urith's right there. Okay. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. We're not done yet. I'm sorry. The one thing I said that we should do that I didn't do was add in draw utilities. Esper Sentinel. Dark Confidant. Mystic Remora. We've got Ristic Study. Sylvan Library. Dark Tutelage. That's about it. This is all I want. That seems good. Yeah, why not? I like that. We'll keep it right there. T's per T, T's P, Tippity P. I'm good on the Fog Bank. Thoughts on Lightning Greaves? I think Lightning Greaves are fine. I think that the haste enabling can be good. There's not anything that we direly need to do. There's enough creatures for Lightning Greaves to move around. Like, I'm not concerned that Lightning Greaves are going to be stuck on a creature that I couldn't otherwise target. Not that I'm going to target my own thing that often. I do think that Chain of Vapor is equally good on our own Dockside Extortionist as it is for removing a threat. So there are instances where I will want the Lightning Greaves off the creature, but again, we've got enough creatures. I don't think haste enabling is big enough of a concern for me to want to incorporate it. This is really a control deck with a mid-range combo. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. With that knowledge in mind, let us continue with the cuts. Okay, Force of Will, Force of Vig, Deadly Rawl, Force of Neg, Fierce Guard, D-Swat, Court of Calling, Delay, Drown in the Lock, Eladamri's, Limduls. I think Limduls is just, it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It's really good. I'm not in love with Limduls Vault. I'm just not in love with it. We got to make cuts is what I'm saying. And we've got more direct tutors. So I'm good. I'm sorry, Limduls. I'm good. I'm good for now. I love you. You're great. You're invited to the birthday still. Don't think you can't come. But we're good. Okay? I'm done. Ristic Studi. Dark Toots. I'm gonna sideline that for now. I love it. I'm gonna sideline it for now. I hate to say it. I think most of our cuts are going to come from our creatures, which is insane to say. Jin, this Urith. If you would draw a card, exile the top card of your library instead, you may play those cards this turn. I think that Urith is good, but we don't inherently have draw. I'm sorry, Urith. I love you. Prime Speaker Vanifar. Sure. Prime. Sure. Get in there, girl. Do it. I know I'm going to put that. We said 100%. I know we said 100%. I can't help but feel that this is too slow. I can't help but feel it's too slow. But I like it. I like it a lot. Don't get me wrong. Thalia Hedge to Cathar, we're going to have to take out a lot of stacks, baby. Do we need to go this quickly? Do we need Elvish Spirit Guide and Simian Spirit Guide? I want to say yes still. This is amazing. This art for Reki. This is so good. I just want to keep it for that. I like the fast mana with those. I'm not entirely certain it's necessary. Baral does have a lot of fuel, but I'm not sure it's necessary either. Okay, so we're going to have to cut a lot of things, as I mentioned off the bat here. So there are stacks elements that I don't want to cut that I might have to cut. Some of these lower end cards can probably go. Yeah, help me with the cuts. I'll turn to you. 37 Beast Whisperer, 37 creatures, Soul Advocate Eternal. Okay, what would you like to cut? The Spirit Guides? Let's just do that for now. Call me crazy. You're allowed. You have my permission. We've got draw here, draw there, draw almost everywhere. Draw there. Is it whenever a creature enters, or we have to cast it? That's annoying. Oh, whenever you cast a legendary spell. Look at us. Mox Amber. It's a thing. Oh my goodness. Whenever we cast a legendary spell, draw a card. Reki is actually an outlet with Dockside and any legendary creature. Right? That's actually kind of cool. I kind of like that a whole lot. And also Cloudstone Curio. So Cloudstone Curio or MEL, I guess. You need to cast it. I'm so sorry. Just Cloudstone. Just Cloudstone. Anyways, I got really excited there. Sisay is a little bit better at doing the thing that Prime Speaker Vanifair was trying to do. So we'll probably just focus on her. I think Edric Spymaster of Trust is good, but is it Timna good? Is Edric Timna good? Let me know in the comments below. Nin is in there, yes. She's in there, but she's a paying artisan. So basically, deals X damage to target creature. That creature's controller draws X cards. So what you do is you hit your own Esika for 3, and you draw 3 cards. is the concept. It's a lot of mana. It is a lot of mana. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of mana. I'm conscious of that. If we feel like it's too much mana to inject into Nin, then I could understand. What is draw, tutor, ramp, and theme count? Theme count? Draw, tutor, ramp, and theme count? That is a good question, and I have not done that math. We're building it live, so if you would like to venture a guess, you're more than welcome to say it. I think reconnaissance is fine. I don't really care enough. Don't care enough. All of these things are essential, though. All of these things are essential. These lands can be modified. Pact, Summoner's Pact, Chain of Vape, Dispel, Enlightened Tutor, Flusterstorm, Mental Misstep, Miscast, Mystical Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Mystical Tutor. We don't win from instants or sorceries, but they certainly help, don't they? Spell Snare, Swan Song, Sure, Vamp, Tutor, Veil, Summer, Worldly Tutor. They all sound really good. Drown the Lock, I'm maybe a little iffy on, maybe, but we've got a lot of control magic, like our grave should fill up. It should fill up. So all of these are fine. Force of Vigor is just... I don't care. I don't care. But people want it. People like Force of Vigor. So we'll do it. We will do it for you. I understand the desire to have Birds of Paradise, but I don't want it. Get it out of here. Get out of my deck. And Edric, I'm going to end in like a minute because I need to know if we're going to cut that. Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, I love you, girl. You got to go. Do we have enough draw? Would you rather Sig or would you rather Nin? I think that Sig just does it a little bit more easily. So Nin can go. Nin can go. We need to cut 9 cards though. So Nin and some friends. Dranith is fine. Dranith is not a legendary. It's gotten to the point where I'm just going to cut non-legendaries. It's that far down the line. Esper, Deathrite, Dark. Deathrite's good. I don't know if I can keep it. Issa and Zergo look like they're on the chopping block. They look it. They are. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. This just seems okay. This seems like a whole lot of okay, Valentin. That seems okay. This seems okay. Okay. We got to cut 4 more cards. All right. It is saved and updated on the page. Here. It's saved and updated on the page right now. So if you were to refresh your page, you should have the exact build. We need to cut, I think 4 or 5 cards. 4 cards. Okay. After getting infinite mana, what's the win con besides Najeela and Assault? After gaining infinite mana, you would want to draw the deck and ideally set up a win combo with Najeela. You could do a finale, like cast all your creatures and cast Finale of Devastation. And then what this does, you could fail to find, it doesn't matter, right? But when you do Finale of Devastation for X equals a billion, all your creatures gain haste. And there's no way in hell that someone has enough blockers to stop an infinitely large army of hasty creatures. So that's one outlet. So far as other outlets, if you've made infinite mana and drawed your deck, then you shouldn't need other outlets. But if there was one, I guess you could Cloudstone. Let me see here. I really think that 3 things is enough. But let me just look. If there is another outlet. No. No. Nope. Nope. I consider that good enough, though. Let's see here. It's all combat. It's all combat-based wins. Ending this poll. Where are we? Where are we? I need to know. Where's Fibblethip at? Fibblethip's like, we didn't invite him. Is Edric Timna good? I'll take that as a cut, Edric. All right. So we need to cut a handful more cards. Is Reki doing enough? I don't know. Lonus might be just okay. This is killing me. I don't want to cut any more creatures, though. So what we will wind up doing is cutting some countermeasures. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it to you. I'm going to have to cut some stuff I don't want to cut here, though. Sorry, Force of Vigor. And we're going to cut... Oh, do the miscast. I don't really need Mana Drain. Do I need Mana Drain? I mean, it helps. Not really. Mana Drain. Yep, that's what I want to do. Those cuts. Okay, let's go. Obviously, this can be modified to whatever you're liking, but let's just take these last 10 minutes with each other to test Esika No Bridge. I think Elish Norn is better than Jin. I don't really think one way or the other. I think they're probably both okay. This is slow. This is slightly better. It's odd because Imperial Seal is probably what we're casting and not Soul Ring. I gotta say. Yeah, okay. Let's just say that this is what we keep. Sure. Yeah, this is going to come into play. We're also assuming that we're able to do that. We'll get rid of... We didn't know this was here. We'll get rid of... Bloop. This is an outlet. This is mana. This is a tutor for another outlet. This is a deflecting swat. Demonic Tutor is also really good. This is just a good hand straight up. I do think that ultimately, though, the weaker of the cards here is either this or this. And I would rather have Hope to cast right now or just put Thrasios down. I mean, our combo with Thrasios is going to be Dockside and Cloudstone Curio off of this. I mean, we can just forego the Hope, honestly. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, now we draw. Flush of Storm. Cool. Scalding Tarn. What are we going to grab? What are our biggest colors? It was like blue and green. Blue and green. So we'll do Scalding Tarn for Tropical Islands. Sure. I mean, this is not looking at my hand, obviously, but we do need the Tropical Island for Thrasios, so that seems good to me. Thrasios. Passios? Alright, I'm going to shuffle really quick. Oh, God. No land. That's okay. It's not really okay, but it's going to have to be okay. Demonic Tutor for a land, anyone? Okay, so with this hand, this amazing hand, honestly, the best thing we can do, it sounds crazy, but would either be to wait to Tainted Pact for Dockside or to just Demonic Tutor for Dockside. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but it's the truth. Because we really need ramp, and I don't think anyone's going to give, anything rather, is going to give us as much ramp as just a firm Dockside on turn 3, despite this being a shitty situation to put ourselves into. Okay, Sarah. Okay. Mental Misstep. That's really cool. Let's Dockside. Now, we can make some assumptions here. I would say that Dockside at this instance would make... bloop. Did this just tutor sideboard? That's amazing. Never going to need to do that. Treasures. Let's just say 7. Let's say 7. Let's be generous. Okay, so... You can kind of see what's happening here. Do we put Esika down? If we were to put Esika down right now, it's technically 2 mana, because Thrasios can tap for mana. We've got a free redirect if we do that. And we have this many counters, right? So, in my mind, it makes sense to do Esika. I don't know... No, we don't want to do Esika yet, because we want to Cloudstone into Esika. I don't know if we have the mana to do all this, though. Because the thought is you'd go down 1, Enlightened Tutor for Cloudstone. You would Tainted Pact the top, right, for Cloudstone. Nah, you're not going to have mana for Esika. Even with 7. Even with the generous 7. So the best bet here is to just go Esika. So we'll do 3. Lamp. And we won't be too greedy here. But... we'll go Esika. That's fine. And we'll Pasika. So, in this instance, we've got a lot of good countermeasures up. Let's just say we have the mental misstep off turn, sure. Also off turn, we're going to go ahead and do a Enlightened Tutor. We'll Enlightened Tutor for the Cloudstone Curio, right? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. It goes on top of our deck. Everyone saw it. It's okay. We'll go ahead and draw it. We'll tap here, tap here, tap here. I'm not really worried about the combat here. But we'll do that. Do we have the mana? Do we not have the mana still? This would suck. I don't think we have the mana. Who cares? We'll do it anyways. You get where I'm going, though. We really wanted to put Esika into Cloudstone to do the thing, to bounce the Dockside, right? But the general goal here would be to use Tainted Pact to get a low CMC creature to cast into getting Dockside back to our hand, to recast, to generate 7 or more treasures, to win the game with the top half of Thrasios. But I just wasn't trying to put you through all of that. But that was sort of the general outline I was seeing. Was casting Esika their best? Esika? I don't think so. Probably not. It's important to note that she is always a creature. Is this a good starting hand? It's certainly better, right? This is useless, but we've got a lot of blue cards, right? At least that's what that's telling me. Yeah, we can keep this and try this out. Sure. Oh God, Ristic Study. We're not gonna betray you today. Don't worry. We'll cast the Mox Amber because we can. We'll do this into this. That seems like a fair start. All right. Scalding Tarn, beautiful. I love it. We're just gonna do another Trop Island because they've been so good to us. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Now we could put Esika down, but we could also just cast a Soul Ring into a Ristic Study, which feels better in so many ways. So yeah, we'll just do that. We'll just do this. It's unfortunate because I want to turn on the Mox Amber, but it's not super vital. I don't think there's a great way to... If I just did Esika here, 1, 2, 3, I would have this open. I can cast this. Nah. And she can't tap for mana right now, but she's not haste enabled. It's fine. Okay, yeah, we'll do Soul Ring. We'll do it this way so we can attack with the Noble Hierarch, sure. Bloop, 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 bloop. Ristic Study, cool. We'll attack with the Noble Hierarch. She's exalted. Yes, we can hold mana and pretend like we have something, or we can just beat someone down for 2 or 1. Never mind. 1 mana. That's fine. We'll do that. Whatever. Okay. That's that. Ristic Study, will you pay the 1? Oop, it's still pretty early. They said no. Oh, they did it again. Oh, we're going to... Oh, hey, Jeweled Lotus. That's cool. So we'll do Jeweled Lotus. We'll just promptly cast Esika off the Jeweled Lotus, if that's good with our opponents. And at this point, we don't have a clear win at hand here. We do have a Birthing Pod, though. So... If we did, because remember our wins are Nagila, MEL Dockside, Cloudstone Dockside, and Aggravated Assault with enough creatures, which we don't have right now. So honestly, Amara, which was a suggestion earlier, the Selesnian girl that when she taps makes tokens, that's actually a really good idea. I actually don't think that the token generators are a bad idea because we do need an influx of creatures, legendary creatures, mind you, but there's probably some side strategies we can incorporate to get the ball rolling. Here, this is okay. Like, she's not going to be able to attack and tap for mana, sadly. We definitely need the vigilance of our legendary creatures. This is probably a safe bet. We can sort of force the situation by going into one of our combo things. Like, if we just did this for... This can go into Dockside. This can go into MEL. There's no sense in going to it right now. This can also go into Dockside. But we might as well put this on the battlefield right now. Did we do Esika last turn? We did, right? Right? Did we? Did we? We did it right now. We did it right now. 2, 3. There we go. Birthing Pod. Is it scaring you? Is it scaring you enough? Let's just do the Noble Hierarch to break this. Is there a legendary 2 CMC creature that's amazing? We can go for Thrasios. Or we can go for Dockside. And we can make the same assumption that we'll make anywhere between 4 and 7 treasures on turn 3, right? So if this succeeds, we could just say we get Dockside. Why not? Because the hope right now with all of this sweet, sweet mana, let's just say we get 6 this time. Seems fair, right? With all this sweet, sweet mana, 1, 2. The hope is we pull into something to use not only with our Force of Will, but also to dump with our Survival of the Fittest. Right? I don't know if this was the best play, but it was the play I made. We got a deflecting swat up though, so that's nice. Let's just pretend we have to use it off turn here to reroute something. They don't pay the 1. They don't pay the 1 again. We get 2 cards out of this. That's cool. I should be shuffling. We'll do the Underground Sea. Why not? Now we got 2 draw utilities, which is great. But we also have 2 tutors here and no creature for this one. I think we can win now, but let me turn to you guys to see how you're doing. We got 10 draw utilities, 20 tutors, 11 ramp, 20 interaction, not counting island lands, and any of this. Thank you, MTG Salt, for the breakdown of the build so far. I actually appreciate that. And that's useful for you guys. Again, it's 10 draw utilities, 20 tutors, 11 ramp, 20 interaction. That seems like a pretty reasonable spread. 2 quick things. Are you going to play test this? Well, apparently we are. Yeah. And how are you deck editing like this on Tapped Out? There's Justin, there are 2 ways there's multiple ways you can edit on Tapped Out. But there's a full, I could show you at the end of this. How about that? I've tutored for Besage You against a, you know what we forgot? To add crop rotation would be really good here. But that's neither here nor there. So we're going to try to win the game right now. What is the best way to do that? Technically, it would just be going into MEL. So we don't have a 3 CMC outlet. Let me just look at this really quick. Open link in a new tab. We're going to go over here. If you go to live edit, Justin, you're able to look over your entire deck build and specify how you want to group it and also how you want to organize these groups. Personally speaking, I just do converted mana cost. Because in instances like this, where I'm looking at what is my best option for this turn, I think that we could just go Reki. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I know that I can go into a 3 CMC creature with Birthing Pod. So if we go MEL here, let's just say we do Eldritch Evolution, tapping Esika, and using using 1 generic and 1 and the Mox Amber, whatever. That's cool. We got 1 generic floating. We'll use Eldritch Evolution to kill Esika. She technically she's gonna go back to the boop boop right there. That's cool. You know what's interesting? We really need Cloudstone. So what I was thinking was like we want to go for Reki because we could draw the deck. We can go for Sisay. So infinite mana Sisay can sort of grab anything, and that seems good. The major issue here is that we want to just put our deck in hand and then do a Finale of Devastation. So technically the best thing is just Thrasios, or I guess Lonis. Lonis can probably be opted out, by the way, for something else because Thrasios is generally enough. But it's a nice redundancy because you can get clues from casting, from having non-creature tokens enter the battlefield. So when you're doing an MEL loop, you get to investigate, you make clues. So that's why she's there. I don't know if it's too much of a redundancy, but basically we're going to do this. We're going to go for MEL here. All right, do we have enough mana to just hard cast? I mean, if this already got sent, let me just see. We've got 5 and this. If we had to hard cast this to ensure that it goes off, I still think we have enough mana to just do MEL. So we'll do Force of Will off a hard cast. Remember, that's treasure mana up top. Just to give ourselves the, the hardest time doing this. They didn't pay for the Rhystic Study, whatever. Cool. And we still have mana sufficient to do 1 treasure here and here to do MEL Dockside. It bounces, it comes back in. At this point, we're going to be generating, let's just say, 8 treasures. It's turn 4, fine. And then we'll keep doing that for infinite mana, right? After we produce infinite mana, the only issue is this is only going to go to a 3 CMC thing or a 5 CMC thing. So we'll do Birthing Pod, and this is post-infinite, right? We also have Survival of the Fittest with Dark Confidant, so we can just dump Dark Confidant to find a creature we want. We don't have to kill Dockside here. But with the strategy that was made available, we can just do that. I do think it makes the most sense to just dump the Dark Confidant to keep the dock side around, it's better that way. And we can go for our... Really, why don't we do Lonus? That's fun. I mean, I was just talking about it. Fine. We'll grab Lonus. Cool. Now, whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. So, we're going to do the same thing again with Dockside. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Make infinite treasures, make infinite mana. We're going to investigate, which is going to make infinite clue tokens. And now we can sacrifice these to draw the deck, right? So we've shuffled, we draw the deck. And as I was stating earlier, this is all main phase 1. We just want to look for a Finale of Devastation, because ultimately we're going to get our deck, cast all of our creatures, cast Finale of Devastation for X equals 1 billion. And if it's 10 or more creatures you control, get plus X and gain haste until the end of turn. So this is a turn 4 win. I think the other example was turn 4. I think it's time to assess whether this was good enough or not. I don't know. You answer me first. We make a lot of assumptions when we're goldfishing. You're in 5 colors. Anytime you're in 5 colors, you inherently have a good deck. It doesn't matter what you're going for. You're going to have a good deck because you have access to every single card that exists in Magic outside of those being banned. So it was inherently going to be good, right? Do these combos make sense? I think going for a creature-centric strategy actually does make a lot of sense. 1, because Esika, she cares about the legendary creatures. But 2, we have the most tutors in the game for creatures. Everything green has, coupled with everything black has tutor-wise. So black tutor for anything, green tutor for creatures, right? For the most part. This seems good. I mean, it seems really good. Is this the best creature-based version of Esika? I wouldn't dare say that, but this is a really good variant because it does get to utilize things like Birthing Pod, or it does get to utilize things like Vanifair, who I think you can actually make space for. There was a suggestion for Lightning Greaves. I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but that is something you can incorporate to help speed up certain turns for creatures that need to tap. I would rather rely on creatures that just enter the battlefield and do the thing. Having Lonus there is actually really nice, but she doesn't care. It's just the top end that matters most. Same thing with Thrasios. It doesn't care if he can tap. He just needs to pay for generic to do a thing. So we got a lot of great utilities here. Reki might be a redundancy too much, and we don't have that many legendary creatures. Outside of a Cloudstone loop, it's not going to be useful, right? But everything else makes a whole lot of sense to me. Like, this is just good. It's just good stuff with legendary tribal synergy for mana that also functions as a win with Nachila and Aggravated Assault. Or you just draw the deck with Lonus and Thrasios and win with Finale of Devastation. And again, if you've gotten to the part where you can execute infinite mana and you have the tutor for the right thing, you will win. And what's good is that all of our right things, our outlets, are creatures. So, yeah, it's good. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts before we close this out. Not counting Pod Esika, then make infinite treasures. Yep. Evo, Dockside to Thrasios, Pod Esika to Emiel. Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, or just Lonus, as we saw. It's just nice because if Thrasios is removed from a turn before or whatever, if you have your Green Sun Zenith, you can just go for Lonus and in much the same way draw the deck, which is just good. It's just good. Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Justin. Of course, 5-color Worm Tribal. Yeah, kind of. But this was a good one. I enjoyed this one. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in with me and watching through this deck tech. If you want to do Esika no bridge, I think that this is a no-brainer. I think that this is probably the most appropriate route to go. It was very, very fun. I actually enjoyed doing this. It's just a bunch of value in odd utilities and odd strategies you wouldn't generally rely on for a win. It's very satisfying to do. So if you guys were trying to do this, I enjoy this. I think there's certain tweaks you can make. Like I would add in crop rotation, adjust the land base to more accurately represent your color pie. And that's it. I like it a whole lot. But thanks again for joining me on this one. As I do with all these videos, I like to thank our Patreon community and of course our YouTube members for helping to make all this possible. It's crazy. Like the further I get into my full-time job now, the less time I'll have to focus on this, but I promise to do an episode a week, live stream over the weekends, and I'm just thrilled to have you guys on board with me. And this end roll is not quite accurate. We have 123 patrons, I believe, right now. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, supporting everything I do here. You guys are the best. I hope that these live streams are enjoyable or educational or what have you. So long as you get a kick out of tuning into these, I'm satisfied. And to you, the viewer, you guys are the best. Honestly, coming in every week to watch these, to build decks with me, this is such a fun time. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, I'll encourage you to share it and like it with all your friends and community. Just spread the word that Esika can still rock it. Sans Bridge. Again, my name is Patrick Marla.